Hello and welcome, this is Melsgunner, and we're back with some more Battle Brothers. So, I successfully completed another contract fighting off the Greenskins, and we have quite a bit of cash in store, but we have some cleanup to do. First off, we have a level up of Alaric. He is now level 9. We've gone through all of the tiers, so unless we want something else that is up here, for example, Berserk or Killing Frenzy or something like that. Maybe even Shield Expert, giving him more defensiveness as he uses his shield. Now, we haven't gone down that route with Alaric, and we don't have to go that route. I could give him another weapon, maybe a two-handed sword, then we would want Sword Mastery, which would give him a higher chance to hit if he's using, I think specifically two-handed swords in this case. And he would also build up less fatigue for using skills that are related to swords. And also the counterattack ability is going to also have a higher chance, or actually remove the chance, the penalty to hit. Alright. We could also change what kind of weapon he uses. Change him to a mace, for example. And then we have the higher chance of getting a stun. But really, I like this guy using him as just a killer. And part of me feels like I should do things with that. But there's a lot of perks here we can use to help us out. I mean, even footwork is a good thing for us because it allows us to... Oh no, not footwork. What's the one where you switch your own men? There is one that switches your man around. Ah, this one, rotation, unlocks the rotation skill, which allows two characters to switch places while ignoring zone of control. I think this is what we want to take. We want to get Alaric into fights, and this is the best way to do that. So that is exactly what we're going to do. And then for his roll, where he rolled well here with range defense, so we're definitely going to take that. He rolled well here with fatigue. I'm definitely going to take that. And he rolled well with both initiative and hit points. I think we're going to take the hit points here. We want him to be nice and survivable. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that roll. And we've got him up to 71 on his fatigue, so he's one of the best guys for that. Alright, well, I'm pretty happy with that. Oh, and we did get a vial of poison I think I want to sell in this town, so let's sell that. Apparently I missed that. Ooh, we also have a contract. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that the contract wasn't there last time I looked. Okay, let's go ahead and sell that vial of poison. We don't use poison. Okay, so pretty good there. Let's go ahead and leave. I'm not going to take a 3-skull contract, I don't think. Okay, split nose, that's about to go away. These injuries are real bad because they are reducing the fatigue of my man pretty significantly. And we also have the injured shoulder, which is a long-term injury. We'll go ahead and treat both of these as we did pick them up in that previous fight. And my men are pretty banged up at this stage, so I don't necessarily want to get into a fight with them right away. One thing that I might consider doing is going and getting more dogs. And to do that, we're going to want to go to Adlerwalk. And I might stop off at Swekov and get anything from the armor. Last time we were in that town, it had fantastic prices. Alternatively, I could go down to Hohenau and see if there is a faction job for me there. There may very well be, and there's an armor here as well, and that might be worth picking up. But if we go up this way, through Adlerwalk and then to Swekov, we're hitting both an armor, and there's technically an armor, I think, in this town as well. Yeah, as well as a weaponsmith. So we have a couple different things that we can pick up along the route. But I think that's the right course of action to take if we want to either get armor, and at the very least get dogs, because I think this is it's kind of hard to say which one's the better trip, going here or going to Grafenberg. Grafenberg having a kennel as well, although typically I don't know if the prices are all that great. Granted, we have an armorer, a weaponsmith, and a kennel all in one location. So might be a better choice to go that way. I can go to Honau, see if there's a job there, then go to Grafenberg. But if the job takes me somewhere else, then obviously we're not going in the direction we want to go. So yeah, it's a tough call. I personally like the idea of going to Grafenberg better because it allows me to backtrack easier. And we've already kind of established a relationship with the House Thura, and yeah, we're now in friendly terms with House Thura, so we're going to need to keep up with that. And I think also we've got a good relationship with House Harkon going here, so I kind of want to keep up with that. Now, as far as House Thura goes, we've got Gemmenstein that I can stop off here, and there's an armorer there, as well as a tavern. We've got a weaponsmith up here. We've got a temple. We already did that. And then we've got a weaponsmith armorer. Yeah, I think we're going to go to Gemmenstein, then to Grafenberg. I think that's my game plan. So let's go do that. I don't know if the faction relationship helps prices at all. Really don't. I'm going to assume yes. And it does seem like that's the case. But of course, we have the problem if Gemmenstein's been hit by raids or greenskin attacks or any of the number of things that can be affecting these towns, then we're going to have bad prices, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. So let's see what the prices are like. Yeah, he's almost... this town's almost charging me double what the things cost. So these are terrible prices. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to move on. These prices are terrible. And these are the dangers that I have with interacting with towns over here. I think one of the reasons why prices were so good in Swekov is because this house hasn't been hit at all by the greenskin invasions. But I think we're going to go ahead and go to Grafenberg. I've already kind of made up my mind. We've already headed in this direction. Going over to Gemmenstein has already kind of made up my mind for me. Because to go up this way now is more out of my way. But we have plenty of gold. I should have checked prices for tools. We do need those. And this gives me time to also make sure my men get healed up, as, you know, the injuries are quite severe here. And we want to be able to use our men, obviously. So we're going on a shopping trip, more or less. If we find a good job, though, with House Harkon, we'll think about it. That's why going to Adlerrock might have been a good choice, because if it gave us time to wait, we might not get to Grafenberg before night falls. Hopefully we do, but I get this feeling, this distinct feeling that night's going to fall before we get there. Ah, we just got there in time. Okay, so Kendall's going to be the first stop. There is no ill effects going on in this town, so it looks like prices are pretty decent. I'm going to go ahead and pick up 2 war dogs, as I believe that is what we need as far as the resupplying of our back liners. Yeah, that was exactly how much we needed. I don't think we need any bandages. We did have a guy that took an injury that could have been bandaged, but I didn't get to it in time, so... Oh, well. Okay. We've got that taken care of. Let's now take a look at the armorer here. So a lot more choices in a big town like this. And let's just see an example here. This mail shirt it's still being sold for an upmark, but the other town, it was being sold for like 1,100, the exact same piece of armor. So as we can see here, these prices are a lot better. Okay, so different skins for pretty much the same thing here. And we already have plenty of male hauberks, in my opinion. Coat of scales would be nice, but we can't afford it. We already have lamellar harnesses, and again, I don't feel like we can afford that because it would drain all the money I have. We have a bassinet with mail, which 210, that's not actually that much of an upgrade over some of the helmets we already have. For example, Alric has a helmet that is worth 250, so I'm looking for a distinct upgrade here. I might even take a look at the weaponsmith as well. So 240. 170. As a matter of fact, I'm not seeing any helmets that give me any upgrade over what we already have. Looks like 250 is as good as it gets. I mean, I'm sure there's something somewhere that is better. Like, for instance, this closed flat top helmet. If it had mail instead of just a cloth covering, probably would be pretty good armor, but unfortunately, that's not the case. So, okay, well... Now, the fatigue for this is not too bad. Let's compare that. 13, 215. I mean, that's 8. I really don't think that we're going to be upgrading anything by buying the helmets that we see here. 130 versus 140. That's what we already kind of have and are using. Yeah, I think we're not going to do anything here. Just not finding the right things, unfortunately. All right, well, that's fine. Let's take a look at the weaponsmith. Okay, we already have pikes. This would be a nice upgrade, the billhook. As we can see, 60 to 80 versus 60 to 90. And the armor effectiveness is extremely beneficial here. Same number of fatigue. Now, I was talking about earlier, we could use a two-handed sword in the hands of Alaric. And because we haven't gone with the shield perk, I mean, there is no real downside of doing that. And next time he levels up, I can switch him to... I could switch him to some perks. So if we come into Alaric real quick here. If we take, for instance, reach advantage, this is going to give us a increase in melee defense of 20%. All right, let's just read it all the way, though. Each hit with a two-handed weapon melee adds a stack of reach advantage. So it's a stack. Okay, so it doesn't work all the time. And up to a maximum of 6 stacks until this character's next turn. So that's unlikely to happen too many times. A single attack hitting multiple targets can add several stacks at once. Okay, that makes sense. Put away your weapon, you lose all stacks. All right, so that's not quite as good as I thought it was. Okay. But a lot of these, the sword mastery would start playing a bigger part. So really, I think the question is, do we want the greater damage? Because right now we have a noble sword, which is 45 to 50, so not that great damage-wise. 20% ignores, 85% effective against armor. The fatigue is the big thing, though, with -8, but you have to factor in the shield, too. So that's a total of 22 fatigue that Alaric takes wielding that. Whereas if we took the greatsword here, it'd be 12 fatigue, so we're getting 10 fatigue back. Granted, you don't have the shield wall, so you don't really have as many things to fatigue you. And also, greatswords take up more action points to use, so that's a factor too. But if we take a look at the damage and the effectiveness against armor, so it's 35% ignores the armor, so that's greater. 100% effective against armor, so that's greater. And then the damage is more than double, as we had, what, it was like 40 to 50, somewhere around there. This is 85 to 110. So the damage potential that we can throw out is greater, but you have to factor in the fact that with a sword, a normal sword, you can throw 2 attacks in 1 turn. So really, I think these balance each other pretty well. I don't know if you're getting that much of a benefit unless you built your character more for it. Like, for instance, if I had taken Berserk, if I hit somebody and killed them, I would get another attack with the two-handed sword, which would then throw out another attack that would be the equivalent of double the kind of damage that this can do. Close to double. Alright, well, it's one of those things that you could go that route if you wanted to, but I kind of like my shield wall, and this isn't really talking me into it. Alright, moving along. We do have a fighting spear, which is going to be an upgrade over the spears that we use. Not a huge amount of damage. But one thing that you're upgrading is the effectiveness against armor quite a bit. So, especially as we're using Goblin Skewers. Now, you are lowering your fatigue quite a bit by using a spear, and that's kind of a problem for the men that have our spears because their fatigue's already pretty low. So, we would be upgrading our damage pretty significantly, and we'd also be upgrading our effectiveness against armor pretty significantly as well. Alright, well that's a tough call. That one. This is something I've technically been looking for quite a while. We do have a fighting axe. We already have one of these, though, so... Or do we? Let's switch over to this character. Yeah, we have a fighting axe, so we don't need that upgrade. I think I'm happy with what we've got there. So really the only weapons that I see out of this that would be worth my time is either the fighting spear, which is costing me quite a lot of money for what it is, or the billhook. The billhook, I think, is the arguably best choice here. And as a result, I think I am going to end up taking it. Because it's just a flat upgrade to the pikes that we already have. So that's what I'm going to take. 60-90 damage is pretty good. Let's go ahead and take that. And I think that's going to be the only thing I take here. Let's leave. Let's take a look at the marketplace, see if we find anything cool there. I need to find somewhere that has a Fletcher. Tool prices aren't bad. I'll go ahead and take one of those. And we don't have any medicine here. Oh, there's another billhook here. And it's being sold for cheaper because of the beat-up nature. I think we gotta pick this up. Okay. Cool. Not every day that you find one of those. Alright, well, I think that is going to be it. I was looking for some food, but it doesn't look like there's any food here that I would necessarily want to take. I mean, the dried fruits aren't too bad, but it's still a little bit pricey. Okay, we've got quite a bit of an upgrade going in our favor here. So, taking a look at our men, who would be the best man to take one of the billhooks? Looks like these two guys are going to be who I end up giving the billhooks to. This guy we have carrying the banner just because of his higher... Oh, you know what? I was about to say his higher resolve, but that's not necessarily true. I think we're going to be shifting the banner around a little bit here. So, you're going to go ahead and take billhook number 1. And you are going to get this. And you are going to get the other billhook. And we're going to move you in the middle. Okay, so now Havard is our new banner carrier. And do we want to keep going with the Executioner's Axe? It is a damage upgrade over the pike. We have 60 to 80 versus 70 to 95. The problem is it's harder to hit with. But this guy doesn't have necessarily great chances to hit anyway. It is also more effective against armor. Slightly. But you also have the utility of being able to chop shields. So I think we keep this for now, but we'll keep at least one pike in our inventory. As a matter of fact, do we have other polearms in our inventory? Yes, we do. Now, I remember last time this was the case, I accidentally sold the wrong thing. So I'm going to be selling the Goblin polearm, if I can find it. There it is. We don't need that anymore in our inventory. And yeah, I think that's good to go. Let's go ahead. Close ranks a little bit. Alright, so we did manage to upgrade our back liners as far as their attack damage pretty significantly. I am tempted to move Gunner here. Move you over to the flank. And have our shield chopper here instead. Or alternatively, we do this. I kind of like this setup. Yeah, okay, that will work for me. And then... yeah, okay. We unfortunately didn't get a chance to upgrade our armor, but we just didn't have the opportunity to do so. Okay, well... we don't have any contracts here, though, so... I guess we're gonna just leave. And where to go now? Well, we do have that 3 skull contract, but I really don't want to take that if I can avoid it. I'm going to go over to Hoenau, see what we can find there as far as armor to see if we can... We're kind of running out of money, though. I'm going to go over to this town here and see if this faction has any jobs for me. And that's what we're going to do. So I don't want to take the 3 skull contract. I don't. I mean, I might stop at Gemmenstein just to see what they have for me, because it's clear House Harkonnen doesn't have jack for me, which is unfortunate because we did have that 2 skull contract that I turned down before I took the contract that I just got paid, but it was not nearly as much money. Okay, we're going to stop at Gemmenstein first here. And then we'll go from Gemmenstein over to this town. Now, Gemmenstein had a lot of effects here, so we're not going to really be buying a whole lot from them. I'd probably stop at Weisenhaus for food, because we are running low on food, in my opinion. But I did want to take a look at the marketplace and just see what we have as far as tools and things. Although the prices are probably going to be terrible, so I don't know why I'm looking. Yeah, they are terrible. Okay. Still have that 3 skull contract if we want to take it, which I don't feel I do. Let's go over to Weisenhaus. Because I have a feeling the 3 skull contract's just going to be another go find an orc warlord, and I can't afford that. I don't have the... I mean, technically I could, because I've got almost 2,000 gold, but that would mean I would not be buying pretty much anything, and I really don't want to do that again, so... And anyway, we need the time to get our light wounds gone, which, I mean, we still are working towards that, although at this point, we could probably take another contract. Okay, so we still have that 3 skull affair. There is a 1 skull affair here if we really want to take it, but I'm here to buy food. So I'm going to buy some bread and some grains. And there's not really anything else here worth buying. So we're going to leave. And I'm going to go up towards this town up here. We'll see if there's any contracts for me. If there is, I'll take it. If not, then I'll just go back down to Weisenhaus and we'll take that 3 skull affair. Not what I want to do, but I feel like I don't have much choice. Hopefully we get there before nightfall. Okay, well, we've got dire wolves fighting brigands. I have no problem with that fight. We'll just skirt around it. It does slow me down a bit. Okay. It's actually kind of good that brigands are fighting dire wolves. Okay. You know, it doesn't matter if we get here in time to shop. Another 3 skull contract. Okay. Well, I'd rather take a contract with a house that I already have a working relationship with than one that I don't. We'll take a look at the marketplace and stuff, though. There is an armory here. Okay, I'm still not seeing anything better as far as helms go than what we already have. So, absolutely no upgrades here. Outside of the scale armor, I mean, I would gladly take that, but they're being sold for such an upmark here because we don't have a good relationship in the town, and also the fact that this town already has an effect going on with the greenskins. It's being sold for quite a bit. All right, I'll go ahead and take a look at the marketplace just real quick. See if there's anything that's just a steal. Not that I see. So we're just going to leave. And I'm going to head back down to Weisenhaus. We'll take House Thura's job. Again, I don't really want to take a 3 skull contract if I can avoid it, but if that's all there is, that's all there is, and we're going to take it. My men are ready for the fight, so... Now, depending on who survived that scuffle, we might have brigands around, which might be worth killing, just, you know, to gain some experience. I would imagine these are the brigands here. There's only 7 of them. Let's see what we've got. Brigand raiders. Let's chase them down and kill them. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and fight these guys. It's just brigand raiders. It is now morning, so I will have an advantage as far as the range combat goes. I outnumber these guys pretty significantly. This is mostly just going to be a fight for experience, but I'm going to do this in the next video, so I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.